The blogging era. A lot of ups and downs with it, man. A lot of personal commentary in regards to a lot of these artists that drop new music. You know, a lot of these bloggers, they want, you know, they like artists, but they want them to continue to be on the same type of, I guess, level. And nowadays, artists, man, real artists, they're evolving. Rappers are going to be rappers. You know what I mean? If you're going to be a true MC, or just a mainstream type of artist slanted towards the mainstream music that's being played on the airwaves now and what's popular. If you're just from the SoundCloud area, SoundCloud era, you had that was a good era for a lot of people. But now, you got to get into the strip clubs. You got to get your albums in strip clubs or things like that. You really got to pay DJs. Sometimes that can be like 5 racks just to get your album played in a strip club to make it hot. And if that's how you can spring off, in springboard to, you can pop. So, the independent route is always a grind. That's for sure. It's always a grind. And you got to be consistent. You got to be willing to grind. You got to be willing to shop your music. And you got to do what you got to do. Now, it takes money. It takes money now. So you have to invest. And you have to be patient. And sometimes that don't always work. It still takes, a continued grind. And you have to have it in you. But, getting back to the blogger era, some of these bloggers, man, they were just, some of the stuff that their content and what they would talk about was just, a lot of times it was just personal, their personal issues towards an artist. And they want an artist to work with certain producers they like. And so they try to select the artists or keep them, pigeon-toed into, a certain era. Whether it's boom bap, whether it's transitioning like boom bap, transitioning to the Neptunes era, Pharrell, and from there you had the 2010s. And even before that, when Lil Jon was popping, the Crunk was popping really nice. They really had some momentum, and there was a transition period for music. Like I said, the real hardcore, purist hip hop people wanted to continue to hold on to that boom bap, but music always transitioned. And certain artists are willing to push the envelope and experiment in other type of sounds. And for me, I respect that because you've already mastered, what you're comfortable with. So why not, go in the studio, get one of these producers, maybe even a new producer that inspires you, and he's inspired, or he or she is inspired by working with that artist, and create something special. That's what it's all about. Not the same old cookie cutter sound, whether it's trap, whether it's boom bap, and that's just how it is. look, hip hop is went from a lot of different stages. You go back to African Bambaataa, the sound there, Grandmaster Flash. You had the different sounds. So I'm, in the genre has always got these different branches and trees and lanes that the artists can touch upon. But why should the artist be punished or held to represent a standard of music that you want to hear? Because you're the blogger. You want to put them in that particular zone for the remainder of their career. And that's just not, that's not creative to me. Creativity is just you hear sounds, you got a certain zone that you might feel, and while you're in that studio, both producer and artist is kind of like on the same wavelength, and they make beautiful music together. But people will try to downplay it and say that, well, I don't like this beat. I'm not feeling the vibe. Well, your ears are not open. You're not opening up to accept sounds and certain music and certain music that artists are trying to go sonically. And they're trying to challenge themselves as well. But if I keep listening to these critics telling me to stay in one lane, I'm not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to challenge myself. You're not going to tell Drake to stay in one lane. Now, he's mastered the lane that he's in. But when he tried to, he had the what that album he had, I forget, before the latest one that he had with 21 Savage. Honestly, never mind. He got. I didn't. It wasn't my vibe. I understood the music. I understood what he was trying to do. Kind of get more in that world beat, Afro beat, club, house. You know what I mean? A couple of the songs I've rocked to. I wouldn't probably spin it again. I think I might have listened to it that one time and that was it. But there was a few moments on that album. I gotta say I was like, kind of vibing with it a little bit, but it's neither here or there. But that's all we're doing. It's the blog era, and bloggers they're gonna have to adapt to the times. And see, a lot of times this is where the disconnect come in, because you have these older hip hop heads. Like I said, they're holding on. They love that era of boom bap, that gritty sound, and that's what they're comfortable with. But the artists may want to work with different artists and may want to experiment. What's wrong with that? Why should he be criticized for wanting to work with different people and different producers and create different sounds? To me, I think that's smart. But I'm more open-minded to artists and what they're trying to do, and I'm a little bit more willing to explore the sound and whatever they're trying to, whatever art that they're trying to do, the final product. And if it's nice, if it's good, I'll rock with it. If it's not my vibe, then I won't. So, but I'm not gonna kill you over it. I'm not a hater. And some of these bloggers can come off as haters. They try to say they're not, but their actions, look at their actions. If they're consistently saying the same thing, but yet trying to give a disclosure or a qualifier to it to say, well, I'm not hating, but it's the same old thing that you're harping on. That's my issue. You don't want us to say you're hating, but yet it's the same situation all the time that you bring up. You try to laugh it off like it's a joke or ha ha he. But we already know. We know what you're doing. You sneak dissing. And so, you deal with that, man. I'm more open to what the artist is trying to do. And like I said, if it's something I'll vibe to, I'll make a blog about it. If it's something that I don't necessarily feel, I'm not feeling, then I'll be honest about the situation. And it could be me. My ears might not be hearing what the overall concept of what the artist is trying to portray. So, and that's fair. I think that's if I say it like that, then that's a fair shake. But it is what it is. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all a good night. The Beat Report. Peace.